right, we're here with Mark Farah again. You got a fight coming up now in December on the Gauteng Boxing Promotions Association. Kalela Kadumbu has had 5 fights, three wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. Firstly, Mark, how have you been?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me again, Hayden. Always good to chat to you. And yeah, things have been good my side. Just recently moved into a new place. I've been very busy this last week or two, but it hasn't stopped the training. The training's still been going strong. And yeah, I'm feeling good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the end of the year. It's been, I suppose, a tough year for a lot of people with getting fights. How have you been feeling with the action?
Yeah, well, it's been a tough year for everyone, as you say. I think the last year and a half, it's been up and down with especially the boxing, fighters training for fights and then fights getting cancelled, postponed. But as fighters, we've got to learn to roll with the punches, and we've just got to keep going. Just got to keep training and make sure that we're ready, because we never know when a fight's going to come up.
Well, that's the thing. You always got to keep fit, and that's just the reality of the sport at the moment. But what do you think of your opponent? He's also another guy that hasn't really been in action all the time. As I said, I think he made his debut back in 2017-18 against Jabulani Mackenzie, but since then, he's only acquired 5 fights. So he's sort of going through the same things as you are. I mean, I think you'd be more active, but you did take a sabbatical at one stage as well. But yeah, I mean, with regards to that, I mean, what do you think of his inactivity?
We never overlook fighters as boxers. Well, a clever boxer never overlooks any fighter, I can take it from experience. Even though I was inactive for 2 years, I never ever left the gym. So I think that's the mistake my last opponent made. He thought he's going to get into the ring with someone that's inactive and, he's going to be rusty, when I won unanimously. And so I take that experience and I use it for myself. And I never overlook opponents, especially this one. The only loss he's had is against Jabulani Mackenzie, which is an excellent opponent.
Yeah.
So I think it's a tough fight for me. It's good experience for me, and I'm going to give it all that I have.
In looking at that, kind of hard to prepare for a guy that you perhaps don't know too well. But I suppose that's the case with many fights at the moment as well. A lot of new faces or just guys that have been out of the sport for a long time boxing. What sort of preparation have you put in specifically for this opponent?
Well, I've been sparring with the likes of Fika Lelani, Terence, Rocknap, Shavante Koopman, Walter Dlamini, Ricky Labon, Lusanda, Komanisi, the list goes on.
It's quite an array of guys giving you all options.
Yeah. I've had an amazing sparring camp and training camp. My sparring partners are all phenomenal. They all teach me every single week. I learn from them. And yeah, I can have no excuses going into this fight. I have to win this fight, God willing. But when it comes to me being conditioned and prepared, yeah, there's no excuses, because I've had the best sparring there is in the country.
All right. And, obviously on a side note, Solani Tete changed his tournaments. He's now jumped on as the main event for the tournament that you're going to be on. How did you receive that news? Yeah,
it's exciting, especially Tete. Everyone knows Tete, especially from his knockout, that quick knockout that he did. So it's an exciting bout. I'm looking forward to watching it, and I'm sure it's going to bring a lot of spectators to the event. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that, actually.
Now, yourself on a personal level, I know that no one can say they want to fight 3-4 times a year anymore because of the times, but like, what sort of expectations are you putting on yourself for next year? Is there like a belt that you want to win or anything like that?
Well, to be honest, my promoter and my manager said I can challenge for a title after this fight, but they've given me the right advice and maybe just do 2 or 3 8-rounders before I do take a title fight, so that I'm more active next year, which means getting paid more also.
Yeah.
When you fight for a title and you get a title, you're looking at fighting once a year, maybe twice a year, which is not what I'm looking at right now. Even though there is an opportunity for me to get titles after this fight, I'm going to take my manager and my promoter's advice and maybe work my way up there with maybe 2 or 3 8-rounders just to get active and also get used to more rounds in the ring before I jump to the level of 10 and 12 rounders.
Now, I know that you're not one to call out anyone. I mean, in the past, you never ever like really said someone unless they've called you out. But I mean, looking at the guys in the division, there's not many stories going on at the moment in terms of, oh, we really want to see this guy versus this guy. Is there anyone that you've at least got an eye on that you're aiming at?
To be honest, not really. I'm looking at each fight as it comes. That's the way I've got my blinkers on right now. So the fighter that's in front of me, that's what I focus on. And it's all about getting the win for my next fight. And then after that, we'll speak about who's the right fighter for me to fight next. And when that happens, I'll focus on him also. I'm not really the type to call out guys and place my eye on certain guys. The real one I want to defeat is myself. You know, if I can be better than I was my previous fight, then it's victory for me. So it's more or less trying to be better than I am my previous fight. It's not about trying to call other guys out, or I'm not like that. You know me, Aidan.
Yeah, and obviously, but obviously you want to get to the next level, and you know, as you said, one at a time. In achieving that, you have to win the fights as well. And I know that predictions are not necessarily an important thing, because at the end of the day, a win takes you to the next step. But is there something you're looking for to do specifically in this fight?
Well, I'm looking to put on a good performance. You know, I'm looking to put on a good performance. If the knockout presents itself, I'll obviously take it. But I'm a boxer, you know, no one's really known me as a fighter. I'm a boxer. I like to display boxing skills, ring workmanship. I like to move around the ring, box the guy. And like I said, if I do hurt him and I see that he's on the back foot, I'm definitely going to take it. But it's very hard to predict a fighter. It's very, very hard to predict a fight. So I'd rather just go in there with a game plan of make sure that I just perform, box nicely, and the rest will come. The rest will come. Who knows what's going to happen, you know? It's exciting. Every fight for me is very exciting because I'm never the one to make predictions. Because to be honest, Aidan, who actually knows the future but God? Like everyone can say this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But there's a verse that always lays on my heart that many are plans of a man's heart, but the Lord's way will stand. So I believe that fully. And I believe that may the best man come out winning. You know what I'm saying? If he's better than me, he'll beat me. If I'm better than him, I'll beat him. So that's how I see things.
I think from the sort of the media point of view, like the you know, the before comments, before the fights, more just to build the event. But you're right about the result will be the result. You know, when you two step in the ring, it'll be determined. You know, at the end of the day, it's between you two. Do you anticipate anything from his side in terms of, you know, speaking or saying anything? Has there been anything on social media, or is it kind of like under wraps at the moment?
Not really. I haven't heard anything. Who knows? Because 90% of the time at the weigh-in, all my opponents try to do something stupid or get cocky, or I don't know. My last opponent tried to kiss me. So I don't know if you saw, but the last round of my last fight, I was actually boxing him and giving him little kisses in the last 20 seconds of the fight because he couldn't hit me the whole fight. So who knows what's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't heard anything from this opponent, but my form, they all come out tuning me or trying to do something stupid at the weigh-in. So let's see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah, I guess you can't really predict anything that's going to happen, but every fight is a different fight as well. And you said that you adequately prepared for this one at the very least, and you've had the best sparring around the country. In terms of the venue now, I want to talk about the Boyson's Boxing Hall. It's like a notoriously an amateur venue, but going back now, this year became a professional venue. Having the chance to box there, I know it's a smaller. I don't even know if there's going to be a crowd at the event, due to the COVID restrictions and whatnot. But being at a venue like that, I mean, does it mean anything to you?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that's the place I got my boxing license. I sparred for my boxing license there. It's very well known in the country. It's just a legendary place that. So to be able to dance in the squared circle there, it's a privilege, to be honest, And yeah, I want to thank Riaz for having us there. He's such a help. He sponsors me my boxing wear, my gloves, my headgear.
You're going to be Brawl Gear all over the show.
Yeah, so Brawl Gear has really helped me with this camp when it comes to gear and that. And to be honest, I actually had a feel on that ring not so long ago, and it's a very, very hard ring to fight on. It's a very soft floor, so it's like, if I have to compare it, it's like running on the road on other rings compared to running on the sand on that ring. So it's very tough on the legs, and if I can do a good performance on a ring like that, I'll be very pleased with myself, you know what I'm saying? And it's also a place that everyone knows, and it's been going for many years, and it's prestigious. It's prestigious. So I'm very excited for that event.
I can vouch for that as well, because I had my first amateur fights as well. I mean, I was part of the Boyson's Boxing, but I was also had my first amateur fight there in that ring. And yeah, obviously it's a lot of pressure, and the ring and everyone. So yeah, it's a really cool venue to box at. And Mark, do you have a message for your opponents at the very least? I don't know if he'll watch this or not, but do you have something for him?
Yeah, my message to him is that I just want to ask the Lord to bless him and protect him in the fight, and may he go home to his family safe. Same with myself. Let the best man win. Let's put on a good show for the people, and I'm coming to give it my all. So yeah, I hope you're ready.
All right, and then lastly, any thank yous or shout outs for anybody, and if there's anything I've forgotten, if you want to mention as well.
Yes, the first and biggest shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for always being there for me and for saving me. And yeah, I just want to thank Jesus Christ for saving me and guiding me and protecting me through camp, and just being my Lord and my King. And he's my anchor, and without him I can do nothing, and all glory goes to him. I want to give another shout out to my wife, Shanae, my child, Israel. I love them, and I thank them for being with me during this camp, taking everything, all my moods when I'm cutting weight and that. I thank you, and I love you for that. And my family and my friends, and also my sponsor. I don't know if you can see her, but Impact Coating and Mighty Roofing.
Yeah, I can see it.
I want to thank you guys for sponsoring me. And yeah, I'm gonna come out and perform for you guys, and I hope you guys are ready for Sunday, because it's gonna be action.
All right, and Mark, from my side, all the best for the fight. I'll see you at the weigh-ins and obviously at the fights as well. So yeah, look forward to it.
Thank you, Aidan. Have a good evening.